Mind blown. Unidentified flying objects. UFOs. UABs. What's going on? We have all heard of these unidentified objects. Maybe you have seen one. No explanation sounds reasonable, but they are something for sure. The oldest recorded sighting of an unidentified flying object took place in 1440 BC. The incident was documented by the royal scribe of the Egyptian pharaoh in the Tully Papyrus. He wrote, "In the year 22 of the 3rd month of winter, 6th hour of the day, the scribes of the House of Life found it was a circle of fire that was coming in the sky. It had no head. The breath of its mouth had a foul odor. Its body 1 rod long and 1 rod wide. They went to the pharaoh to report it. Now after some days had passed, these things became more numerous in the sky than ever. They shone more in the sky than the brightness of the sun, and extended to the limits of the 4 supports of the heavens. The army of the pharaoh looked on with him in their midst. It was after supper. Thereupon, these fire circles ascended higher in the sky towards the south. The pharaoh caused incense to be brought to make peace on the hearth, and what happened was ordered by the pharaoh to be written in the annals of the House of Life, so that it be remembered forever." Similar UFO incidents were recorded by ancient Greeks, Romans, Indians, Chinese, Japanese, Mexicans, and more. These sightings cannot be as readily explained as airplanes or fireworks. In the 4th century BC, the ancient Indian scriptures called Veda and other ancient Sanskrit texts, such as the Ramayana, give detailed descriptions of flying machines they called vimanas. They describe a divine lighting, ray weapons, and even a hypnotic one. They describe these machines as navigating at great heights with the aid of a great propulsive wind. They describe these beautiful chariots that sped through the air and sailed overhead like a moon. They further detail that the vimanas were kept in a vimana griya, a kind of hangar, and were sometimes said to be propelled by a yellowish-white liquid, and sometimes by some sort of mercury compound, though writers seem confused in this matter. Romans really accumulated a number of reported sightings. These sightings were made by such reputable historians as Pliny the Elder, Livy, and Plutarch. They are widely regarded as accurate because of the rigorous procedures Roman authorities demanded before any event could be recorded in the official annals. A sample of ancient Roman UFO sightings includes, in 218 BC, a spectacle of ships gleamed in the sky. In 173 BC, at Lanuvium, a spectacle of a great fleet was said to have been seen in the sky. In 43 BC, at Rome, a spectacle of defensive and offensive weapons was seen to rise from the earth to the sky with a clashing noise. In Japan, in 1235, it is recorded that, one night, a high officer named General Yuritsume and his army were settling down in their camp when they spotted mysterious lights in the sky. The general and his troops watched in astonishment as these lights performed amazing acrobatic movements, such as circling endlessly and flying in loops. They concluded only that the wind was making the stars sway and move. In Nuremberg, Germany, on April 14, 1561, a newspaper reported that many men and women of Nuremberg saw an aerial battle out of the sun, followed by the appearance of a large black triangular object, and exhausted combatant spheres falling to earth in clouds of smoke. The publication claims that witnesses observed hundreds of spheres, cylinders, and other odd-shaped objects that moved erratically overhead. The woodcut illustration depicts objects of various shapes, including crosses, small spheres, 2 large crescents, a black spear, and cylindrical objects, from which several small spheres emerged and darted around the sky at dawn. A similar series of events were reported in July and August of 1566 in Basel, Switzerland, where there is a description of red and black spheres fighting one another in a battle in the sky. In 1647, Reverend Cotton Mather, in his Magnalia Christi Americana, recorded what can be described today as a major UFO sighting in America. Mather received a letter from a pastor in New Haven, Connecticut, that described the apparition of a ship in the air. A large vessel was lost at sea in 1646, and 1 year later, witnesses observed this ship appear in the sky above New Haven. About an hour before sunset, a ship of like dimensions with the aforesaid appeared in the air, coming from the harbor's mouth, which lies southward from the town, seemingly with her sails filled under a fresh gale, holding her course north and continuing under observation, sailing against the wind for the space of half an hour, at length crowding so near some of the spectators as that they imagined a man might hurl a stone on board her, but left vanished into a smoky cloud, which dissipated, leaving, as everywhere else, a clear air. Jumping forward to more recent times, the first well-known UFO sighting occurred in 1947, when businessman Kenneth Arnold claimed to see a group of 9 high-speed objects near Mount Rainier while flying his small plane. Arnold estimated the speed of the crescent-shaped objects as several thousand miles per hour and said they moved like saucers skipping on water. In the newspaper report that followed, it was mistakenly stated that the objects were saucer-shaped, hence the term flying saucer. The same year that Arnold saw the flying objects, rancher W.W. Mack Roswell came across a mysterious 200-yard-long wreckage near an Army airfield in Roswell, New Mexico. Local papers reported it was the remains of a flying saucer. The U.S. military issued a statement saying that it was just a weather balloon, though the newspaper photograph suggested otherwise. Sightings of unidentified aerial phenomena increased, and in 1948, the U.S. Air Force began an investigation of these reports called Project Sign. Within a year, Project Sign was succeeded by Project Grudge, which in 1952 was itself replaced by the longest-lived of the official inquiries into UFOs, Project Blue Book, headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. From 1952 to 1969, Project Blue Book compiled reports of more than 12,000 sightings or events, each of which were investigated. J. Allen Hynek, an astronomer at Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, who had been involved with Projects Sign, Grudge, and Blue Book, concluded in 1972 that a small fraction of the most reliable UFO reports gave definite indications for the presence of extraterrestrial visitors. Declassified documents from the 1960s and 70s report curious activity near nuclear sites. Former Air Force Captain Robert Salas, who was at the Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana in 1967, when 10 ICMs he was overseeing suddenly became inoperative. At the same time, base security informed him of a mysterious red glowing object in the sky. Robert Jameson, a retired USAF nuclear missile targeting officer, told of several occasions having to go out and restart missiles that had been deactivated after UFOs were sighted nearby. Similar sightings at nuclear sites in the former Soviet Union and in Britain have also been reported. Recently, the Pentagon has released videos and a statement confirming that leaked photos and videos of unidentified aerial phenomena taken in 2019 are legitimate images of unexplained objects. A clip from 2004, filmed by 2 U.S. Navy fighter pilots, shows a round object hovering above the water about 100 miles out into the Pacific Ocean near San Diego. The 2 pilots described that they saw a tic-tac-shaped object hovering over a seething patch of water, and that it accelerated so quickly that it seemed to disappear. A warship detected the object a second later at a distance of about 100 kilometers from the sighting. A 2019 video from the U.S. Navy shows an unidentified flying object diving into the ocean off the coast of San Diego, in a clip that officials say is authentic. The object in the video appears capable of traveling in air and water. A submarine search of the area found nothing. Additionally, in 2019, multiple members of the Navy on the USS Omaha saw several UAPs. There were at least 14 solid objects measuring about 2 meters wide, and they moved at varying speeds between 74 and 254 kilometers per hour, according to an intelligence briefing. A similar report came from the USS Russell. 2 other videos have been released which were taken by Navy pilots off the coast of Virginia in a flight-restricted zone. Filmed in 2015, it shows objects moving through the air, one of which is spinning. In one, a pilot is heard saying, "Look at that thing, dude, it's rotating." Navy pilots have reported that seeing these unknown objects in their restricted zone is not that unusual. They also describe that these objects can move at supersonic speed with no visible means of propulsion. In 2022, Deputy Director of U.S. Naval Intelligence Scott Bray said before the House Intelligence Committee, "There are a number of events in which we do not have an explanation, and that many of which occurred in military training areas and designated airspaces, and were frequent and continuing." In addition to these government reports, there have also been countless reports by individuals who claim to have had an encounter with a UFO or with alien beings. The sheer number of them, spread across the world and in every culture, indicates to me at least that there is something going on which is beyond a group hallucination. So if we gather and assess this information, I come to the following conclusions. Number 1, this has been going on for a long time, and long before any knowledge of flight. Number 2, the capabilities of these objects far exceeds technologically anything that we have achieved yet. Number 3, since it's not our technology, it is either our technology of the future or it is the technology of another intelligent species. Number 4, it is also possible that these are AI machine-controlled craft from another world, such as we do with our space probes. Number 5, they are not malevolent. They appear curious, largely non-interfering, and maybe even protective, as demonstrated in the cases involving nuclear arms. It may even be a really good thing that they are here. If they are more advanced beings, they undoubtedly have much to teach us about peace, cooperation, respect for others, and the incredible, beautiful complexity of the universe we share. Mind blown. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to have your mind blown daily. It's free, you know.